Jess, your weekly breakfast of insights, tips and tricks and general information that will help anyone trying to move things forward in this digital world of accounting. This week, I'm joined by Max Addison from AdSum, and we're going to be talking about the new OpenTax Agent Mode in the AdSum product. But before we do any of that, Max, quick intro from yourself and what AdSum is all about.
Yeah, so thanks for the welcome. So I'm from the head of growth at AdSum, and for those that don't know AdSum, we build tax technology solutions for businesses, accountants, and bookkeepers. So we've got sort of a range of products, but yeah, most sort of talked about, and what we'll cover in this, I suppose, will be OpenTax.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what is it doing? What's the pain point that this resolves for accountants?
Well, I'm sure that 90% of accountants are well versed with the agent services and online services account and the sort of the pain that can bring in terms of finding the logins, clicking around, finding the right information. So OpenTax was really born to extract and surface key information from the agent services and online services account and essentially allow accountants and bookkeepers to be more proactive in what they do rather than reactive. So rather than receiving those sort of brown letters or messages from clients, they'll receive, they can see it all sort of clearly on an intuitive dashboard, rather than sort of getting into the weeds of HMRC's platform.
Yeah, I mean, we know the pain points of that, and also trying to get relevant information that's kind of tucked away deep inside the system. And if you ever want to slice the data across multiple different streams that you're working with a client, you're going into multiple different areas, which is just horrific. So my understanding is your platform kind of, if you've got corporation tax, POA, VAT, etc., it's kind of bringing it all into one place, one area in which you can, now I guess with potentially the new mode, do some actions on that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's spot on. So yeah, like you said, it's not even just the one account with HMRC, right? You've got two accounts or multiple accounts for different taxes, and then you've potentially got multiple different accounts depending on if you have different locations or offices or different or if you've acquired any firms. So it can kind of get pretty out of control pretty quickly. So the idea is really to centralize all that information. And like you touched on there, the new sort of addition to OpenTax is the agent mode that we brought out, because we recognize it's all well and good surfacing this information and producing it in a sort of nice and digestible way, but actually, can we go the extra mile? Can we actually help complete the jobs? So things like sending payment reminders. Yeah, you can see who's maybe going overdue or what's soon to be due, but that doesn't obviously alert the clients or let them know what's coming up. So sort of going that step beyond as well, and that's really where we're trying to provide that value.
Cool. And the agent mode, we've heard of agents. There's been a lot of discussion on AI agents, and I think it's become the new buzzword. So what exactly, I guess, or how does it work? How does the agent work inside your system?
So OpenTax sort of is we have obviously ways to extract data from HMRC, and that's what OpenTax currently uses. So our agent essentially has access to those same tools, so can, in a very flexible way, pull key relevant information from HMRC. Because what we recognize is obviously most accountants seem to be doing pretty similar things, but the kind of methods that they use or the way that they want their information displayed varies across accountancies and firms. So agent mode essentially gives that flexibility and can provide information in more of a bespoke way, firm by firm.
Okay, cool. And so it's brand new. As far as I'm aware, it's still in beta. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So we're currently sort of rolling it out to a few of our sort of power users, as it were. So the regular users of the platform, we're testing it closely with them, making sure that all the bells and whistles are included for a more general release, likely to be towards the end of the month.
Cool. And, I assume you've got a big vision for what OpenTax is going to be able to do. So would you be able to talk us through what is likely to be there from day one and how it may evolve over time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're very much focused on the HMRC accounts. That's where sort of OpenTax initially brings its value. But we recognize to complete these jobs, we need to be able to plug into multiple different systems, whether it's accounting softwares, practice management softwares, even some sort of internal tools or like, bespoke tools built by the firms themselves. And we recognize the importance of being able to plug into those so that we're not sort of disrupting, not everyone wants just another dashboard that they have to export things from and import into other systems, right? So currently we know that OpenTax focuses on the agent services and online services account, and there's plenty we can do with that. And we plan to do with that. And that's sort of the first milestone. We'll be trying to tick off as many jobs with that information as possible. But ultimately be, also then plugging into other systems and pulling information across different systems, whether it's for reconciliation or uploading useful information from one place to another, to essentially sort of OpenTax Agent Mode will work in the background. We like to think of it sort of as an AI extension of an internal team. So instead of, a team member going in and, cross-referencing things or extracting data from one platform and uploading into another, sort of, the classic, number crunching work. Agent Mode will be able to schedule it and set it up to run these workflows that will do that work on behalf of the team.
So when you say other systems, what you maybe thinking of like email systems or practice management systems? You're talking more about company's house HMRC systems. What does that mean?
I think there's nothing really off the cards for us. I think the nice thing about Agent Mode is going to be super flexible, and it will all be pretty much based on what our users want to see. So payment, like OpenTax currently has like the ability, or we've got the ability to send these payment reminders, but it's in quite a static, structured way. And again, firms want the flexibility of being able to do it in their own, their own bespoke way, sending from their own emails at a time that suits them. So that's why we're really trying to use Agent Mode to extend the current capability of OpenTax's payment reminders by, including things like the tone of the firm, being able to basically do it in a more kind of flexible manner. So once we've sort of ticked that off, then we'll be potentially looking at things like reconciliation is likely to be the next one. So extracting information from bookkeeping platforms like Xero or QuickBooks, pulling information from HMRC, and just essentially doing a quick cross-reference across payments, any interest owed, and tackling that task. So we're not sort of committed to any one platform. We could potentially, a lot of people that we speak to at these events are interested, do you also pull information from company's house? That's something that's also been sort of thrown around internally. So again, very much dictated by what our users want to see and where we can drive the most value.
Yeah, so I guess, with any AI agent that we're experiencing at the moment, it's the code, the power that enables it to take action. What I guess you're saying is the task that is complete, but it will complete or can complete, is going to be very flexible, right? Because it's going to learn, it's going to educate itself as people are working in it. And as you say, I think at this point, before I guess that agent mode came in, the main power is you brought all your data in one place, and then you can do those reminders across to your clients, which people have been doing manually. Like tax departments or tax individuals inside a firm have been doing this manually for years, and it takes forever. It's a huge burden, but you've got the speed of doing that directly inside your system. But what you're saying is the agent, essentially, you can potentially fully automate this. Like you wouldn't even need to do anything. It's just there in the background churning on a reminder scheduled within boundaries that you set. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, that's kind of spot on. I think the one thing that we are aware of is obviously, especially in the accounting world, people want to be able to verify and check the workings, right? Especially like you said earlier, agents is sort of the term agents is being thrown around quite loosely. So we understand the importance as well of basically being able to check the work that's done. So our agent provides like essentially a chain of thought, so you can see it. You can see the agent navigate around HMRC, keep its information out, and analyze it in sort of real time. Don't suggest sitting there and watching the agent do the work, because that starts to obviously defeat the point. But that's essentially what you can do. So you can go back. So although we haven't implemented it yet, there will be the ability to schedule these tasks, so that you can schedule, say, pulling the data at 6 a.m. So by the time you sit down with your morning coffee, you can go back through the workings, as it were, of the agent, double check the values, and then finalize the task, essentially. So one of the nice things we've got with the payment reminders is it will go client by client, similar to obviously a team member, into the right parts of the agent services account, and then at the end it will give you a nice sort of screen which will show, this is where I got the information from HMRC. This is the actual screen where we pulled the payment information, and then this is the email that we've drafted. And then so essentially, rather than doing it client by client and either making notes or putting things into a Google sheet, it can give you a nice pop-up at the end which will show you that side by side, and then you can essentially just click through, tick, 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 and then send all those emails at once. So yeah, rather than sort of having to do all that manual clicking, it does that part for you and then gives you all the information in sort of a much more friendly way, so you can essentially just click through it and review, which is really what the accountant should be, I suppose, is what they've done their training for, right? Is the reviewing, not the logging in and clicking.
Yeah, the sense checking, right? It's the experience. Like, does this look or feel correct based on what we're used to from this client? And that's where our value should, or does, I guess, come in to help businesses. They could validate stuff themselves if they really want to. They don't. They want to outsource that to us. So reducing our time, but still keeping the value there is important. And anything, I think, where agents are involved nowadays is that validation process. Is kind of self reviewing or self kind of proving, here's the proof of what I've done and why I've done it, is critical. And you've already, by the sounds of it, built that justification into the system.
Yeah, and I think that will be a theme across all the tasks that we complete. Because yeah, like you said, we understand the importance of being able to sense check and quickly review the work that's been done. Obviously, it's important work, so don't want to take that away. Don't want to blindly. I think that was the time with machine learning that everyone was just sort of clicking a button and hoping for the best, and we definitely don't want to go down that route with agents. So yeah, the idea is that essentially it's an extension of the team, and then provides that information for a quick review.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. So, as you say, it's quite early, not like for anyone to, I guess, start using it yet, but should be by the end of the month. So, what's the best way for people to kind of get involved, learn a bit more about how it works, rather than us just talking about it theoretically?
So we'll jump on that. We're doing sort of what we're trying to do is release a job that's kind of been as close to completed as possible each month. Obviously, we've got Christmas coming up, so I don't know quite what that means for the development team or for the users. But yeah, so we're trying to do a big release per month, really. That's sort of one job in its entirety. And the best way to really get involved is join our webinar. So we do a monthly webinar for those. We will be doing a webinar for those jobs. And then, so yeah, jump on the webinar, learn a bit more, and then one of the sales team will reach out, or just, create an account, or there's also the ability to sort of, register for early access through our website. So you can just log in through the website, create your account, but yeah, we're currently releasing the access to the agent mode bit by bit, like I said, to our sort of more regular users. And we're also working with a few firms quite closely. So some of our more regular users, who are some of these sort of mid-market firms, we're actually, what's it called, forward deployed engineers. So some of our tech team will work very closely with the practice, sort of review how they do their work. Because like I said, everyone seems to have slightly different, doing the similar sort of jobs, but maybe slightly different ways of doing it. And we will actually, build that bespoke agent capabilities with that firm. To sort of aiming to save at least 100 hours per week by automating those jobs with the agent. And then obviously what we learn from that will generalize and then release to the wider users as well. So that's another, very much focused on what our users, where our users are going to find value in our agent mode and through these automations. So that sort of dictates the direction of it as well.
Yeah.
It's not just, we do have like a sleek plan and the ability to sort of upvote ideas, but also going into these teams and working closely. We've got a team of accountants internally, sure, but there's no better way to building a useful solution than actually going in and watching how a practice completes the job themselves and then trying to automate it that way around.
Yeah, makes sense. So I guess to boil this down, you can just go and sign up for the platform, and there's no negative of doing that. You still get all the benefits of what the platform already does. And inside that, you can sign up for the beta and just wait. Or to get, I guess, more visibility, you can sign up for the webinars. I'll put a link in the LinkedIn channel if you do want to sign up for that now. Or if you're a bigger firm, then there's probably a more open dialogue to have there about a deeper engagement and how you can kind of tailor the system to some extent to fit what they need.
No, exactly. I think, definitely just reach out to us if that's something that you're interested in doing or pursuing. We've had obviously some great responses from numerous firms about doing exactly that, because I suppose for them it's essentially an extension of their team. They get to work directly with some of our tech team to automate their jobs. So even if it is a capability that you've got in-house, get us in there, and we'd love to see sort of how firms are completing these jobs.
Yeah, and I still feel that you're kind of in a unique place with your system. You've kind of solved the pain point that has always been there, but no one thought about solving. I'm sure you're going to have competitors coming in and to some extent, doing what you do because they realise the value in it now that you've kind of been the first to solve that. But it's great to hear that you're not resting on your laurels. You're constantly building out the functionality to try and drive it, make it better, and as automated as possible within those guardrails of keeping the comfort with accountants. So have you got a longer term vision for this? Is it going to be bigger than, I guess, just that HMRC integration and automation tool, or do you think it's going to become a much bigger platform over time?
Oh, don't want to yeah. No, not. I think the key thing here is focus on 1 month at a time, one job at a time, and see where the dominoes fall. But obviously, big plans internally, and I think that's shown by how quickly we react and build internally. We're building up quite a community. We're doing all these events as well, so hopefully we've got some some happy users and get a lot of good feedback, and that, like I said, that really dictates the direction that we go and where we can provide the most value, as well as obviously we've got some of these partnerships with some of these bigger platforms as well. So I'm sure there's ample opportunity to pursue in multiple directions, being a standalone platform itself or being something behind the scenes that sort of orchestrates data.
Yeah, makes sense. And we're lucky enough to bump into you at the recent Zero Roadshow. So how are you finding those events? You were very busy. I could barely get up to have a chat. So obviously that's a good sign.
They're great to get involved in. Obviously, we're trying to do a bit more of the events. It seems to be being able to actually see our users and future users face to face is a big thing, especially in the accounting world and agent world as well, I imagine. So really nice to go around there. Nice to also meet the wider Zero teams as well. And not often obviously we're going to go down and do an event down in Bristol or Exeter, so it's nice to get down there as well. And see these cities. But really enjoying it. We get a great response. People seem to get it. It seems to be something that obviously everyone's aware of how much HMRC can be a bit of a pain. So it's quite, I don't want to say easy sell, but it's something that resonates with a lot of accountants and bookkeepers. So they're going really well. And we've got 4 left. I think Max Glennon and a few of the team are currently up in Manchester today. I think it was an early start this morning or a late leave yesterday evening. So I'm sure they're working hard at the moment and talking to lots of accountants. So if you seem to be listening to this and you are in Manchester, do pop by and see the stand. But
so
really
what have you done
them.
so far? Obviously you're in London, you're in Manchester today. What has been done and what's coming?
Oh, what else is there? So there's Birmingham early next week, then there's Bristol at the end of next week, and then Exeter the week after that. So it's all pretty back to back. But it's a great event. There's also really interesting talks from Zero as well about the future on their side. So it's been really positive. And like we found with starting to do these, we're doing Fab next year as well. We're booked in for DAS. I think we booked in about a year and a half before it's actually happening. It seems to obviously been pushed back to, I think, October. So something that we're really trying to drive. And what's nice is each time we do these events, we meet more and more people that come over to the stand and say, oh yes, I'm a current user of yours. Which at the beginning, obviously, when we did our first Accountex in London, it was very much, new kids on the block, but we seem to be, establishing ourselves a bit more. Didn't get much recognition up in Edinburgh, but maybe that's just our marketing hasn't quite reached that far yet. But it's definitely exactly. So it's going really well, and there's nothing better than obviously having these conversations and getting, you get basically immediate feedback right from explaining even the direction that we're going in or what's potentially on the roadmap. So it's great.
Nice. And I find that it's really good to engage with the software, but as much as engaging and it's solving a problem, it's a lot about the people. So if you are listening to this and you are a user of the Add Some products or are thinking about being a user, try and get along to these shows, meet the people. Sometimes just a tangible demonstration, you actually talking about what your problem is. Would have experienced that in conversations with other practices and may have a direct solution for that you can't see from the website because it's hard to cover everything, right? So
no, definitely. We also, if we offer sort of regular training as well. So if there's if you are using or thinking about using the platform, but not quite sure how it integrates or how you can get the most value from it, just drop us an email or get in touch. And we're a friendly bunch, so we'll be able to have some good training calls with you and your team to really make sure you get the most value out of it.
Yeah, definitely. And as a minimum, you can always just message Max on LinkedIn.
There we go.
He can give you all the insights. Max, I know we've kind of normally this is somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes, but we've got through everything so quickly today, mostly because I guess the product in itself is solving a big problem, but in a very simple way. So there's not too much complexity we need to dive into. But is there anything that I guess you feel the listeners should be made aware of or should know about that we've not talked about so far?
Not particularly. I think the key thing is, and I can't really stress it enough, we can only make this product as good as we can, really, by speaking to our users and getting feedback. So the more people that use it, the more feedback we get, the better we can make the product, and that's sort of the flywheel that obviously helps grow the product. So if you are essentially tired of using the agent services or online services account and want to give a different solution a go, definitely get in touch and let us know what you think, because like I said, it can only be as good as its the feedback from its users. So that's all I stress, really.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And having worked in various size firms in my years, I know that we've always had that pain point of updating, communicating to clients. As a minimum, it would be when it comes around to their corporation tax being due and just reminding them, because they had their accounts and tax calculations done 6 months earlier than when their deadline is, and they generally wait to make the payment. Just reminding them of that. The platform, as even just a minimum level, doing that is a massive time saver and worth exploring. Thank you so much, Max, for coming on. And as a reminder to anyone, I put in the LinkedIn chat the link to the next webinar, which is the 29th of October at 11 a.m. So please do have a look at that and sign up if you think it's going to be of interest or worth exploring. Because as we have, and as you said, Max, as everyone is talking about, especially at the Zero Road shows, the only way you start to learn about these tools is playing with some that you think may have a tangible positive effect. And you can't do everything. Pick something that's a big pain point for you, play with it, and see if it is something you want to explore further. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you've gained some insights from this, and catch you next week on next week's show.